Yes, but I'm not till early because I have to pick her up. Today's Wednesday. She gets
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and get started. Glad to see all of you guys. Who's got some wins to start off for so far this week? Who's had something good happen to them? Let's hear it. Jose?
Yeah, I initial close.
Hey, there we go. Closed an escrow. Who else?
I got somebody who wants to buy 2 properties, and I have another one that should be opening this week.
Nice. All right. Who else?
My listing should be going on today, I think.
First listing going live today. Nice. Anybody else? We got lots of wins. I want this whole room to have wins.
I have another opening today.
Another one? Damn. This your third one in 2 weeks?
Nice.
Damn, nice. Right on. That's awesome. That just shows like that initial ramp up period, right? Like it feels like you're working your butt off, but like nothing's happening. But if you stay consistent, like I know you have, like it hits, right? Jose is another good example of that. When he first started like working a lot, it's just like, you know, I hear it from him like, man, it's fucking not working, it's not working, right? But then all of a sudden, if you just stay consistent, boom, they just start hitting one after the other. So it's like, it takes, in this business, you don't reap the rewards of like your work today, tomorrow, usually, right? Sometimes you get those really quick wins, but usually it's like, real estate, it's a 90-day cycle. Like what you do now, what you guys are doing now is setting you up for what's gonna happen in August, September, October, towards the end of the year. That's kind of how it works. So they're like, all the initial contacts, all those conversations, they're gonna pay off. Yeah, good example. I had one, we have a listing going live next week. My first contact with him was January 2024. I've been following up with this guy for 1.5 years, and we're finally putting the house on the market. So, and it should sell quickly, so that's good. And we got it at 4.5. So that's what it takes. Like just a lot of that, right? A lot of that. Who else got wins? Anybody? Anybody? That's it? Who's had something bad happen to them this week? I see more hands for that. Yeah, I've had some bad shit happen this week. Yeah, but we're still here, right? That's what matters. All right. So real quickly, we'll go over the normal stuff. Right now we are on Wednesday, so we have the team training series going at 10. Onboarding, that will be after that. Tomorrow we have our call jam at 11, followed by onboarding, and then Friday, nothing in the office. We just have onboarding going on, and it will be the last day of onboarding. So if you are in the onboarding right now, you guys have been hitting your 25 conversations each week. On Monday's meeting, if you guys hit your 25, or you will hit your 25, you are eligible for phone shift, just FYI. So make sure you're hitting your numbers and turning those in. And then our mission as a company, I've been talking a lot about this week, is to be the gold standard in the real estate industry for creating exponential growth for you guys, like the agents that work with us, and then unmatched results and service for our clients using a proven and repeatable system, all right? So that is the mission of this company. Like we have goals, right? Like we want to close 270 deals this year, but that's just a goal, right? That's just a metric, right? If we focus on the numbers all the time or just focus on making money, it can be very, you don't feel like you're winning until you actually get there, right? But when you focus on building a business that like is a really good business, like we're able to create results for agents and able to create results for clients, like that's an ongoing thing. It doesn't matter how many houses we close, that's always an ongoing thing. So that's what our focus is here. And then our goal for this year, 270 closed deals. Once we hit the 270, that's going to unlock our Cabo trip. And so anyone who's closed 12 transactions this year is going to get an all-expensive paid trip to Cabo. And I'm telling you guys, I really want to go to Cabo. So let's do it. And I'd love all of you to be there as well. So that would be awesome. I saw the other day a post. Some of you guys might know who like Kyle Whistle is. He's the #1 team down in San Diego. He took over 120 people from his team to Puerto Vallarta last month. Yeah, because they hit their goals, right? They hit their goals. So he took, there's 120 people that he took from his team to Puerto Vallarta. Crazy. That is what I want to do. All right, our Q2 challenge, we are right in the middle of this. So for the months of April, May, and June, that is the second quarter, anyone who closes 10 deals is going to get a MacBook Pro, all right? And then I'll even put a sticker on it for you so you know why you got it. Anyone who closes 6 is going to get their own set of open house signs, all right? That way you don't got to carry them up and down the stairs. So that's just 2 months, right? You guys, I know probably a few of you are going to hit that at least, maybe the 10. The line, you guys are familiar. So 3, once you get out of onboarding, it's 3 closed deals per quarter. You guys got to work your 2 open houses per month. All client communication happens in Follow-Up Boss. You need to turn in your KPIs weekly and attend the 411s. I do want to talk a little bit about the KPIs, guys. I know some of them like have meaning to you guys, right? Like when you turn in your conversations, like that gets you on the phone shift. But what we're going to talk about today, it's like make sure your numbers are correct when you turn them in, all right? Otherwise, our data is going to be all messed up. And I noticed like a huge spike in appointments last week, right? We hit 41 appointments set last week. So round of applause for you guys. Do I think that's a perfect number? Do I think it was really that? No, because we did ask somebody how many they set, and it was a lot less than what they had actually turned in on the KPI. So whether that was a mistake, like it probably was, right? I know that happens a lot, typos when you're turning in your numbers. Like just double check them before you hit submit. Make sure that the number is correct so that what we're looking at as a company is accurate, and then you're gonna see more why that's important today. Our competition is going right now. So actually, we're in May now, so this is the old one. May's competition is most open houses. All right, so all of you guys, you're on the same team as last time, so whichever team hosts the most open houses in May is gonna get the team lunch, all right? Questions on that? And that could be weekends, it could be during the week. I mean, that one is fully within your guys' control. Like no, you're not relying on clients for that or anything. Like you can go get your open houses, okay? And then recruiting, you guys remember this, you can get part of the commission whenever you recruit an agent to the team. Just let me know, I'll interview them, and if they join the team, you'll get 10% of the commission on their first 5 closings, all right? So we are still looking for agents to join the next onboarding. We have a couple starting this month, at the end of the month. We're still looking for a few more. And then phone shift is, that's the last, phone shift, you guys know you got to hit your 25 conversations. You got to be at the meeting and the training on time, right? You're allowed 1 absence per month, right? If you would have been on phone shift but you can't make it, you got to let Celeste know before the meeting starts. Or if you're going to be late, let her know, right? Then you'll still be able to be on phone shift. You're allowed to do that once a month. And then our closing gifts. So we just had some closings. Jose, you just closed the deal. Was it for a buyer? Did you give him one of the little coupons for the?
He's not gonna want one. He's a single guy. He's like 65 years old, construction. He doesn't need any.
Does he have a dog?
That's what literally my next question was. Does he have a dog? Yeah.
Yeah, no. He's out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, did you get the review from him anyways?
No, I'm gonna get it from today because he's getting keys today. So.
Okay. So yeah, do it. I'll bring it. Give him the option. Don't assume he doesn't want it. You don't know.
Trust me, I know this guy.
Okay.
I'm asking a mechanic that's reasonable all the damn time. Hey, you want the picture? I don't want to work.
Okay. Well.
But I'll ask him.
Bring it anyways, just in case. I suggest you guys all keep one of these in your car, so they're in the drawer over here. That way, just like your buyer reps, right? If you go out to a showing, you realize, like, oh shoot, I don't have one. Like, you should always have a stack in your car.
Does he have kids?
No, he's not kids, not married, not girlfriend, nothing. His teeth are all messed up.
That's it?
Oh, jeez, well, maybe he wants a picture of his boots.
Maybe he needs a new freaking dating profile pic, dude. Like,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
Take some selfies.
Look at my new house. Yeah. Like, I'm a hardworking guy.
So, you invite the girls over, like, nah, I ain't got time for that stuff. Oh, you're a bachelor? Like, yeah. girls are trouble. They catty. They tell you one thing, you another. Trouble. I'm done with that. Okay, well, you might
Well, at 65, I mean, he's stuck in his ways, so he's not changing. Huh?
So my grandpa got remarried at 70.
All right, and that is it for that, guys. So let's go ahead and get into our training for today. So I'm going to be, oops, I need to open it up. I'm going to be going, like, this is our last week of the lead conversion series that we've been doing. Where'd it go? Okay. All right, let me get our little thing started here so we can record this. Okay, so we're still talking about lead conversion, right? What is lead conversion? Someone, what is it? Chris.
Trying to sway the position on whether they want to buy or not.
Okay, trying to sway the position of the buyer.
Like handling their objective.
Yep.
Where you can get them to actually want to work with you.
Okay, handling objections. What else? Like what is lead conversion like in just like overall? Like what does it mean, right?
Get somebody into selling, into closing.
Going from a lead to a
Getting them down the
close,
phone.
to a,
From one stage to another.
To a thing. Yeah. To a thing. Yeah, getting them from a lead to a thing.
Getting them from barely knowing you to closing the deal.
Yeah, so from barely knowing you to closing the deal, right? Those are all the right answers, right? Lead conversion is a big thing, right? There's a lot of things that go into it. So lead conversion is essentially taking a contact or a lead, right? And turning it into an appointment or a closing, right? It's the act of receiving a lead and then working it all the way through the pipeline, each of the stages, until it becomes, in our case, like a closing, right? Or a sold house, all right? So a recap of what we've talked about so far, some of the things that affect lead conversion or that help you improve your lead conversion. So speed to lead is the first one, right? That is probably one of the most important factors in lead conversion. When someone reaches out or they call us or they submit their information, right? Those people are like ready right then, right? They're ready to talk to you. And we live in the now economy where people expect an answer quickly. Like if they submit their information online, they're expecting an answer fast, right? If we don't call them until tomorrow, like they're probably not even gonna want to talk to you, right? They've probably reached out to somebody else by then, right? So speed to lead is a super, super important piece of lead conversion. How fast are you guys supposed to reach out to each new lead?
5 seconds.
5 seconds, I like it. Yes, 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes, like within the first 5 minutes. Like that's what they're expecting, right? If you do it within 30 seconds, they're usually, like, I think it's over like 90% of like submissions are done on people's phones versus like a computer. So usually if they're looking at Zillow or they're looking at whatever, you know what I mean, our website, they submit their info, it's on their phone. So if you do that and then you get a call immediately from Ryan Dobbs Realty, like that's one, impressive, right? Like they will probably tell you like, damn, that was fast, because that happens all the time. When I call, like I get a lead, I call them immediately and they're like, damn, like that was really good. So that one shows you that you're a professional, that you're really good. But it also, like, you catch them at the time they're willing to talk to you, right? If you wait, they might not be willing to talk to you when you call them. So speed to lead is a huge thing. And then the statistics are what, like 80% of people work with the first agent they talk to or the first agent they meet. So you already have an 80% chance of getting that person if you're the first agent. So you want to be the first agent, all right? The next one is a high number of contact attempts, right? It works sometimes, but most of the time it doesn't. You're not going to always get a hold of them on the first or second call, right? Or the first text or whatever. Like the teams that close and the agents that close the most amount of deals, they have a very high average contact attempt rate, right? So like 20 to 30 times. Like every single lead, we should reach out to 20 or 30 times. If you're doing like 10 days of pain and you're doing a call, text, email for the first 10 days, then that's 30 contact attempts in 10 days, right? That's what is gonna get you guys like the most amount of people to respond back to you. Usually you don't have to go the full 10 days. They usually respond by then, right? But having that high number of attempts, and then also using all forms of communication, like I just said, don't just call. Call them first, then call them again, double tap, right? Then text, email. If it's a social media lead, send them a DM. Use all forms of communication. Don't just rely on just one. The next one is having a systematized follow-up plan, right? Which that's what Follow Up Boss does for us. Like if you don't get a hold of them right away, you still need to try to follow up with them. Or if you talk to them and they weren't ready right now, you need to have follow-up. Just like the guy that I said I've been following up with for a year and a half, right? Finally became one of our clients. If I never followed up with that guy, do you think he would have listed our house with us? No, right? That would have been a very expensive seller lead that we paid for that never turned into a deal because I didn't follow up with him, right? So you're gonna get your right now deals, right? That's what everyone loves. That's why everyone loves being on phone shift, because those ones come in, they're like, oh, I wanna go see this house and write an offer. But you're gonna get a lot more deals if you do follow up, all right? Because you're gonna get these people that wanna buy 6 months from now, next year, 2 years later, right? We're converting, I've been seeing a lot of appointments being converted on our 3, 4, and 5-year-old leads. We've had them in our database for 3, 4, 5 years, and we're booking pre-quals on them, right? Like old leads. But they weren't ready then, right? They're ready now. So as long as we stay in touch with them, like everyone that you ever talk to that says, I want to buy or sell a house, that should be a future client of yours. It does not matter how long it's going to take them to do it. You're going to stay with them the whole time until they actually do it, all right? So think of it like that. Like every single person that you ever speak to, you should bring them into your ecosystem, put them in, in your database, and then you're just going to follow up, right? What do they say? It's follow up till they buy or till they die, forever. All right, you got to build tons of rapport. So that's another thing that really affects lead conversion. You guys, people work with people they like, and people like them, right? The easiest way to build rapport with someone is to find things that you have in common with them, right? That's what turns you from a scary or annoying salesperson into someone that like, hey, we'd probably be friends actually, right? So that's gonna make them wanna work with you a lot more when you have a really good relationship, right? That's what a lot of agents say they get into real estate for, because they're good with people. They like talking to people because they can build relationships, right? It is an important part of this business, but it's not the only thing, right? The next part is building value around your appointment. We talked about that. And I've talked about this a lot with you guys. There are agents and inside sales agents that will basically strong arm people into setting an appointment to where they just are just trying to get off the phone. You're so good at objections, this has happened to me. You're so good at handling objections that they run out of things to say, so they just book the appointment. But then what happens? They don't show up, right? They ghost you, right? Like that happens to me a lot, like, or used to anyways, where I was so good on the phone, I could get anyone to basically set an appointment with me, but then they wouldn't show up or they would ghost you afterwards just because like everything they said, I had an answer for, like that. And then like people only have 2 to 3 objections that they can throw out. Once you get past those, it's like they have nothing else, right? But if they don't want to do it and you're still just going, some people will just be like, okay, this Friday, and then they don't show up, right? Anyone ever experienced that? There's a couple people? Yeah, it's a thing. You can be so good at your job, but you're not building rapport. You're not building value around the appointment. You have to get them to want to meet with you. You have to give them a reason, right? And I've always talked about that's like the home buying presentation. Like, has anyone ever gone over, all the upfront costs, the fees for buying a house, the appraisals, the inspections, the deposits, like how everything works? Like, has anyone ever gone over that with you? That's a no, because no one has. Would that be valuable for you to know that? Yes. Okay, then let's meet. Right now, it's like there's a reason, like they want to know all that stuff, right? So building value.
What if they ask you if you go over that over the phone?
I would just say that's a lot of information. I would love to, but I would like to kind of go over some other things as well. This is going to take a little bit. It's much better to do it in person. Doesn't matter what you say. You just have to say something and be confident about it. Confidence is key also. Like if you don't sound confident, they're gonna know that. They're gonna feel that, right? That's what gets them to not want to work with you. But it honestly doesn't matter what you say. It matters how you say it a lot of times. If you sound convicted and confident, like they're okay. Like, yeah, you know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about. All right, the next part is show them you're an expert. And that is through what we just talked about, like helping them through the process, like being able to answer their questions, right? And then also differentiating yourself from your competition with our unique value propositions, our UVPs. That's what we talked about last time. Like, why should I hire you, Teresa, over any other agent in town? You all have the same license. All I do is need you to open a door, right?
Oh, you don't answer that?
No, like that's like, you got to have answers for those questions, right? Because that's how a lot of people view agents too. It's like, oh, you're just going to open the door for me, right? Like, why are you any different? Like, why are you charging more than all these other people? Like, you guys all do the same thing. That's every listing appointment we go on, by the way. Like, that is the point of the listing appointment, because they're interviewing multiple. Usually, when you work with buyers, they're not interviewing agents. Sellers are interviewing agents, right? Most of the time. So, like, why should I work with you over the other two people that I met? They're saying the same things you are, right? Why? So differentiating yourself. What do we do different? What are our unique value propositions that we do that no one else can do that is valuable for the client, that's going to get them to want to work with you? And then we talked about database segmentation, right? Like making sure we're sending the right messages to the right people, right? The easiest version of that in real estate is buyers and sellers, right? You don't want to send like, hey, what's your home worth to people who don't own a home, right? Or first-time home buyer programs to investors, right? Like, you want to make sure you're sending the right messages to the right people. I noticed that a lot when, like, everyone is supposed to be on like a listing drip, right, where they're getting listings sent to them. But when we initially switched everyone over into the new CRM, like, everyone went on a generic one, right? So they're getting listings from 200,000 to 2 million in multiple markets, right? Once you speak to them, though, you want to update that search so that we're sending them the right stuff. That's literally what our script says, right? I want to make sure that I'm sending you exactly what you want to see. Could you tell me as of now, what are you looking for, right? And then they'll start to tell you. You want to make sure that is what we're sending them, right? So always look, always double check. Even if you see the little link there, if you're going to take the lead into your name and you see that, oh, there's already a link, they're already getting houses, check. Because just because they have the link, that just means they're added to YLOPO. There might not be a home search, or the home search might be wrong, right? So you want to make sure you edit that. On all of the people in your name, you should set every single one of them. Indoctrination, this is something that we do on the listing side, and then it goes along with brand awareness as well. So, like, for example, we set a listing appointment. We have what's called a pre-listing package, right? It's like all the things we do, all the things we're going to go over in the listing presentation, and like all of our unique value propositions. And so be ahead of time, before the appointment even happens, we're sending them things that are designed to get them to want to work with us, so that when we show up, there is a higher chance that they're going to want to hire us when we get there. All right? Also, they may be meeting with other agents before us, and so we don't want them to sign with someone else before they even give us a chance, right? So we send out some really good marketing materials so that they see all that stuff. They're like, well, I at least want to talk to these guys first, right, and see what they're about. Because the stuff that we send out, I guarantee you, blows everyone else out of the water. Like, we have really good marketing. All right? Brand awareness, that just comes from all the advertising we do. That does help with conversion. And then timing of appointments. This is something that we didn't talk about before. When you set an appointment with someone, how far in the future should you go? 2 days?
No more than 3 days.
No more than 3 days. Anyone? What happens if you set it like 3 weeks from now? Yeah, there's way less chance that they're going to show up, right? So like on the list side, for example, like we're not supposed to set appointments further out than 72 hours. All right? Because the closer the appointment is to like today, the more likely that they're going to keep that appointment, right? They're serious. Now, sometimes you set an appointment on Monday and they're at work, they're not available to the weekends to go look at houses, right? You can do that, but just know that the further away you set the appointment, the less likely you are to keep that appointment. So when you're looking at like your appointment set to appointment met ratio, if you see it's really low, that's usually a sign that you're not either building value around the appointments or you're setting them too far out in the future. All right? And so that's what leads me to the next part of today's training. So today is going to be very collaborative, guys. I'm going to be asking you guys a lot of questions, and I want you guys throwing the answers out. We're going to not solve lead conversion. We're going to take a look at our company's lead conversion as a whole. So if you guys want to write this stuff down for your, so that you can go back and look and measure yourself against like the team averages, this is going to tell you if you're doing better than everyone else on the team or not as good as everyone else on the team. And then that's going to tell you what you should work on, right? So this morning I took a look at the agents with the most activity, the top 5 agents with the most activity in Follow Up Boss. All right. So I do. Who wants to take a guess? Who do you think has the most calls year to date in the office? Alfonso. Right? It's not even freaking close. He's in the 6,000s. Second place is in the 3,000s. He's double the next closest person to him, right? And that's why he has so many damn escrows open right now. I guarantee it. Yeah. So out of the top 5, the total calls that have been made year to date as of today are 17,236. That's just between 5 people. All right. The total connections, which are the 1-minute calls, I know we don't like use that, but there have been 3,352 connections made on that. And then the total number of conversations, which are the 2-minute long calls, which we track, right? Those are 2,383. All right, so these are our calling metrics. So the call to connection rate is 19%. All right, so what that means is for every 100 phone calls you guys make, you should have at least 19 connections. If you want to be in the top, this is what it looks like. All right, this is what it looks like. It's 19 on average, the top 5 average, right? So if you're not making 19, you're doing lower, like you're below the average of the top performers, right? If you're above 19, then you're doing better and you're doing good. So just keep doing what you're doing, right? So this is how we can like look and see like individually as a team. That's why it's so important for you guys to turn in correct numbers, because then we can see like, okay, is Michelle on her calls to conversations, is she below where she needs to be or is she above where she needs to be? Oh, she's below? Okay, well, let's take a look at why, right? Maybe let's go listen to some calls. Let's do some more role play. Let's figure out how that, and I do some objection handling coaching. How can we get her to have more conversations on less dials, right? That's the type of thing, like we need this information to be correct so that we know how to coach you guys, okay? And then same thing on conversations, it's 14%. So every 100 phone calls you make, you should get at least 14 conversations. So if you're trying to hit just the 25 in a week, right? If you do 200 phone calls, that would put you at 28. You'd be above, right? 200 calls, you'd be over. That's not very hard to do. You guys can do that in like 3 to 4 hours a week. You can have that many conversations easily, all right? So that's on the call side. Any questions on this stuff? Show of hands, how many of you guys think you're above these numbers? How many of you think you're below these numbers? Everybody. Okay, so then we probably want to take a look at your guys' numbers individually and see if we are, right? You might be surprised. Some of you guys have really high rates. So this is just the top 5, remember. All right, the next thing that we're going to spend some time talking about. So these are our conversion metrics as a team on the buy side year to date. Okay, so from appointment set to appointment met, 64% of our appointments that we're setting, oh, and you know what, I'm going to show you guys the real numbers. 64%, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to set this here, so 64%. Then we have met to a buyer rep, which is like they're hiring you to be their agent, right? We are at 47%, almost half. And then buyer rep to pending, which is out of the people that hire you, how many of them do you get into escrow, is 28%. And then our goal is 75s across the board. That's what we want to see. So how can we get our numbers? How can we increase these? Right? That's what we're going to talk about today. How can we increase these? And you guys are going to tell me how we're going to increase these numbers, right? Because these are your guys', you're the ones doing the work, right? So what do you think we need to do in order to increase these numbers? Okay, so this is what it looks like on the actual data side of things. So we've had 455 appointments set this year so far on the buy side, all right? So these are the numbers that you guys are turning in. That's exactly what it comes from.
How many?
455. So that is appointment set 455. We've met with 292 people, all right? Buyer rep signed 137, and then escrows open 39. I don't have a, open to close number yet because a lot of those escrows are still open, right? So at the end of the year, you could really get a real reading on that number. But we want to be around 90%. Like we close 90% of the deals that we open, right? Not all of them are gonna, close. We know that, but 90% would be really good. Okay, so we're gonna go one by one, and we're gonna figure out what do we need to do, and I want you guys to write this stuff down, right? What do we need to do to increase appointments set to met?
Find out if we're pre-qualified.
That will increase the show-up rate. So we're talking about increasing the show-up rate.
To met. All right, confirm.
Okay, so confirm your appointments. That's a huge one.
Quality appointment. Sure they're actually.
Okay, so quality appointment. So your show-up rate begins with how good of an appointment you're setting. We call it the quality of the appointment, all right? But how do we know if it's a quality appointment? Like what can we do to make sure that we're setting higher quality appointments?
Ask them how long they had their job. Ask them the right questions.
What questions?
How long have they had their job?
Okay, ask them.
Do they have a job?
If they have a job. So I don't know if this will increase show-up rate. It will increase what happens, like them getting pre-qualified at the appointment, right? Like if you set the appointment, they show up, but they don't have a job, they might not get qualified. But I don't know if this directly affects the show-up rate.
See what you're saying?
Yeah. So that'll be for the next one.
Cross it out.
Yeah, that's actually the next one.
Maybe ask, like, let's say if they wanna do a Saturday, we could ask, like, do they have any other plans besides that appointment for that day? Kinda get more of an idea of if that time's gonna work or not.
Okay, so
Like a party to go to at 2, and you're setting your appointment at 1, people tend to run late, but more likely to cancel on you.
so ask if they have other plans on day of appointment. Trying to get a gauge on if they're going to cancel on you or not.
Let them know that after they meet and get pre-qualified, we can go upstairs and start looking at properties. That at least gives them hope. Does that make sense?
Yes. So
Make it look good.
so tell them we can start house shopping after appointment. So this is kind of like getting them to want to show up because people want, they don't want to talk to the lender, but they want to go look at houses, right? But hey, look, we can go look at houses after we have this appointment. So kind of like saying that we need to do this first. That's a good one. Who else? Come on, guys. We got 25 people in here.
You mentioned rapport building and building value.
Yeah, so build rapport. That's a huge one, right? People work with people they like. Also, if they do like you, right, from your phone conversations, they're a lot less likely to want to cancel on you, or at least they'll tell you ahead of time, right? But if they think you're an a-hole on the phone, like, do you think they care if they just ghost you? No, right?
Let them know that you're gonna be there at the meeting with them. That way it's not gonna be as intimidating for them.
Okay.
And if they don't show, it's kinda like, do too.
What about the one we already mentioned, like, make sure we make the appointment not too far in advance?
Yep. That's a huge one. So let them know that you're going to be there as well. I say this to all of you guys too. You should go, like when you set an appointment with the lender, one, don't pass it off to the lender to let them book the appointment, right? Then you're basically passing your job on to someone else and hoping that they do your job for you. And then two, you should be at that appointment, especially when you're newer. Like you need to know what's going on in those appointments and hear the way that they're talking to the clients and the things they're talking about. So then when you're out there showing houses and you're talking to people for the first time, you're gonna know the process and you're gonna pick up on like what's actually gonna happen. Like you learn the lending side of the business. Like the best agents know all aspects of the business because we're like the quarterback, right? Like once we get them in escrow, it's kind of like we just make sure everyone else does their job, but you don't know what everyone else's job is yet, right? So in order to tell people, like in order to make sure your deal goes smoothly, you need to make sure your lender's doing what they need to do when they're supposed to do it. The inspector's doing what they need to do when they're supposed to do it, right? The appraiser, the escrow, the title, the insurance, all these other people that are involved in the deal, you need to know when they are supposed to be jumping in and out of the deal so that they're doing their job. That's how you ensure your deal goes smoothly, right? If you just leave it up to everyone else to like do their job perfectly, like does that happen ever? No, rarely. Right? Rarely does everyone do everything when they're supposed to do it. So, but you have to be the one, you're the captain, you're the quarterback, you're steering the ship, right? So the only way to do that is to be involved in all these things so you understand the entire home buying process, not just how to show a house and write an offer, right? I heard the timing. Okay, so like give me a specific.
Make it within 72 hours.
Right, book appointments within 72 hours.
So like suggest the day, like, are you
Right.
free Wednesday? So how do we get them to show up? So when you're selling the phone only a day in advance, like, they're more likely.
So yeah, try to book your appointments for near time, not far out, if you can, right? I understand sometimes they're out of town or they got, whatever.
What I do is I call and verify the appointment, but then I also call the lender and ask the lender to verify too. That way, they're kind of getting.
2 confirmations, so have the lender confirm as well.
Yeah, I always put the letter introduced.
That's on a prequel. It could be a buyer consultation. It could be a showing even, you know what I mean?
Right.
But like have lender, are you guys all writing these things down? Because these are all things that you guys need to start doing, right? We're talking about how are we going to increase our show-up rate as a team. And you guys are coming up with the answers right now. But it doesn't make sense if we're just not going to do these things, right? So you want to write these things down and make sure that like when you're setting your appointments, these are the things that we're doing. And then we're going to have a better show-up rate. What else? Anything else?
Multiple confirmation, like, follow up after you talk to them, saying, think it was great talking with you, I look forward to meeting you on Friday, and then also texting or something later, or closer to the appointment.
So like reiterating the appointment.
Yeah, that's what we do on the list side. So like they get a confirmation text immediately after the appointment is set, and then they get one the day before the appointment.
Something that I learned through follow-up is if you set the appointment on there and you check off like send invitation to your email, it automatically sends a reminder that morning of the appointment. So that's something I've been doing since it automatically.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Does it put like their name and stuff in there too?
Yeah, like you're on the contact. You're on the contact on Follow Boss, and where you can like set task for appointment, you create the appointment, check the little box that says send a reminder, and it
Is it text
automatically.
or email?
it's an email. I think it's-
It sends it through email, the appointment, but the reminders through text.
Yeah, so you guys know, like in Follow-Up Boss, when you use the little appointment tool like you should be, if their email address is, and their phone number are there, but email address, it'll show up on their calendar if there's an email address there. And then that's why like whenever, like if you're booking a listing appointment, I say put me on it, because then it adds it to my calendar as well. It does the same thing for them. And then also it'll send out the automatic, like, you should still do your own, but it will send out confirmations as well. Yeah, we have like when we book appointments for our scholarship interviews, there's like 10 messages that go out. Like 10 confirmation messages that go out before it's like when it happens, a couple hours later, a day before, 8 hours before, 4 hours before, an hour before, 30 minutes before, 10 minutes before. Yeah, we're blowing them up. But it works, people show up, so that's what we want, right? What else, guys? Anything else?
As far as, like, let's say you have a showing that's happening, send the listings through like Y logo and call them and let them know, like, can you select like your 5 favorites that you want to see, and then call back and say, okay, well, I see that you set up like the 5 favorites, these are the ones we're gonna go see. So you make sure they put the heart or whatever on it.
Okay. So that's sort of like giving them what they want, right? You guys all got that? Okay, I'm gonna erase it. We're running out of room here. So especially on showings, sometimes you just have to give them what they want. You just got to show them the house, right? Like that's why we say the first one's always free. You kind of got to get them on the hook a little bit, right? So show them the house, right? And so making sure that the houses that you're going to show them are ones that they want to see. That's going to make them want to show up, right? So ensure they like the houses. We are going to show them. So that's a double-edged sword as well, because sometimes people will just totally disregard houses by the pictures if the pictures are bad or something like that, when really like they should have probably went and saw it. But it does get them to show up more if they're the ones picking the houses. I always like to say we're going to see everything, right? But I've gone up to houses a lot of times where we'd pull up to the front, nope, we're not going in, and then just keep on driving. That happens a lot.
Do you say it or do they say it?
They say it.
Like, I've seen everything I need to see. Let's go.
Yep. It could be just a part of town, right? I'm driving all over town. We go to a certain area, and they're like, nope. Like, let's go. Like, all right, cool. But if that was the only one I was going to show them, and then I sent them that address, they'd be like, no. Yeah. Another thing is having multiple, too. Having multiple houses to go see. That's another thing. They get to see multiple versus just one. What else? We're talking about increasing the likelihood that they're going to show up to the appointment.
Active listening to what they want, like, instead of just thinking of the next thing you're gonna say on the phone, actually listening to what they want, keeping them talking, like 90%.
Okay, so active listening.
I feel like we all try to think of the next thing to say instead of actually paying attention. Then they're like, well, I just told you that, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that on the phone? Yeah, if someone says, I already told you that on the phone, you're fucking up. Yeah. I hear that a lot, too, on recorded calls. Yeah. It drives me nuts when I hear that. I'm like, dude, just pay attention. But you're right. You're just thinking about the next thing they're going to say versus what they're actually saying. Like, what are we ultimately trying to do? We're trying to solve a problem for our clients, right? Like, they don't know how to buy a house. They want to buy a house. They don't know the steps. They don't know the process. They don't know anything about the areas. Like, we're going to help them with all that stuff, right? We're experts at that. That's what we do. And so you have to show them you're an expert, right? And that you can help get them from where they are now to where they want to be in the most efficient way possible, right? And so, but you don't know what it is if you don't listen to them. Anything else? Anyone got any other ideas?
Make sure you tell them if they need anything or if they have any questions, they can call at any time. Just reassure them.
Okay.
Making them comfortable.
Let them know they can reach out anytime. Okay. All really, really good ideas, guys. Like, they all work, right? They all work. They will all help increase your show-up rate. If you do all of them or most of them, I guarantee you, you will get more people to show up to your appointments, right? And the more people you meet with, the more clients you're gonna get, right? The more appointments you set, the more you go on, right? The more you go on, the more clients you get, the more clients you get, the more escrows you open, the more escrows you open, the more you close, right? It's just a funnel. The more you put in the top, the more falls out the bottom, right? So it starts with calls and conversations, and then booking appointments, right? And then meeting them, and then getting them to hire you, and then getting them in escrow, and then closing. It's just a funnel. It's just a sales funnel. It's all it is. So the more activity you do, more calls, open houses, social media, door knocking, whatever it is that you're doing to generate business, do a lot more, right? And you will get a lot more to fall at the bottom. But then we can become, so this, what we're talking about now though is efficiency, right? There is brute force, right? I'm gonna go make 20,000 calls this week, right? You'll probably get something, right? But is that sustainable for a long period of time? Maybe, maybe not, right? But you can also look at how can I be more efficient, right? To where I don't need to make as many calls and still get the results. So we're talking about efficiency here. How can we get more of the people that we're already getting to an appointment to show up?
Ask the right questions, ask more questions.
Ask more questions.
If they do cancel, reschedule right away?
Ooh, good one. I never let people cancel on me. I always reschedule. Yeah, that is my first thing. Like if they say, oh, I can't make it, okay, cool. When do you want to meet next? Like I go straight into reschedule. Like don't let them cancel. Reschedule, right? If they're serious, they will. If they don't, then they probably weren't serious. So always, I'm glad you said that because that is one that I had thought about. Always reschedule. Never cancel. Chris, I saw your hand in the back.
Coaching them, let them know that it is a thing. A lot of people see the hassle to go through it all, and it is kind of your duty to kind of let them know. Be confident, it's gonna be fine, it's a lot, but we'll get through it.
Okay, so coaching them, make them, like I think we put on there, we did, but it's make them feel comfortable.
Yeah, a lot of people are gonna pull back as soon as they start saying no.
Yeah. So let's call that like ease their fears.
If it's a pre-qual, let them know that it's never going to be a no.
I was going to say that, yeah. So what are, like in a pre-qual appointment, what are people afraid of?
That they're going to be told no.
They're going to be told no, they're going to be told their credit sucks, they don't make enough
They're
money.
going to be shamed.
Yeah, they're gonna, yeah, people do not like to be rejected, right? Like, we are all unicorns because we are in the business of getting rejected all the time. That is not normal, right? People do not like rejection. So they are afraid of it. And they do, if they think that something's off, they're not gonna wanna, they might talk themselves out of it, right? So I use that line all the time. So it's never a no, right? I always tell people that are kind of like, oh, I don't know. I always tell them that I can tell they have fear around the appointment, right? They're afraid of something. And I'll tell them, look, it's never a no. It's either going to be a yes or a here's what we need to do to get a yes. And they're going to give you, if you don't qualify right now, like they're going to tell you everything that you need to do in order to qualify and how long it's going to take to do it. That way, when you do all those things, you know that you'll be able to buy a house. So at least after this appointment, even if it's not right now, you're going to know everything that you need to do in order to buy the home. So I promise you, you're going to feel a lot better after this appointment. Like I say, I've said that tons and tons of times. And like, so when you like take that fear away, like they're not going to tell you no. Like our job is to like get you into a house, right? We're going to tell you yes, or here's what we need to do. And then it's up to you to do those things. And if you do them, you can buy a house. And they also, a lot of people, they don't want to get told no, but then they also want to be told what to do, right? How do I get out of this? Because they are the ones that got themselves into it, so they don't know how to get out of it. So they need someone to tell them what to do.
I always tell them that the lender will tell them what they qualify for or what they need to do to fix their credit. And they go, how much is that? I'm like, it's free. Because the lenders will tell them.
Yeah, so if some people think their credit's too bad, right? And so that's what she's referring, like, I don't even tell them they're going to tell you what to do to fix your credit. Like, that to me, I don't want to have any negativity on the phone. Like, we're going to fix your credit, meaning I know you have bad credit. You know what I mean? I'll be like,
Tell you already.
I say, yeah, they're going to look at it, and if there's anything that you need to do, they're going to tell you exactly what to do. If there's anything that needs to happen. Not, I know there is because you told me. You could be wrong. I have people that show up and their credit score is a lot higher than they actually think. There's a different score for everything. Houses, cars, credit cards. So you don't even know what it is. We won't know until we show up. Usually the people that think they have bad credit are the ones that actually have good credit. The ones that say they're good to go are usually the ones that have bad credit. All right. Cool. So that is how, that's a list of things that we can do to increase our appointment set to appointment met. All right. And so was that information, were these things, was this helpful? Right? Do you guys see yourselves being able to do some of these things to help increase your own show-up rate on your appointments? Do you see why it's important to increase your show-up rate on your appointments? Because you get more clients, right? It's really easy. Okay, so I hope you guys all wrote that stuff down. We're going to move on to the next one. Okay, so for the people that do show up, our rate was 47%. So 47%, just under half of the people that we're meeting with are signing our buyer rep document. All right? So how can we increase that? How can we get more of the people that we do meet with to sign our buyer rep?
Get better at the buyer consultation.
Okay? So how do you get better at it?
Practice. Role play.
So practice, role play. What are some things you might practice or role play?
Confidence, how you present it.
Confidence, how you present it.
Buyer agreement.
Yeah, going over the agreement with them, how to get them to sign it, right? What was that?
Objection conquering.
Objection handling, okay. Or conquering, I like that. Not just handling it, we're conquering it. I don't know how to spell conquering, so objection, I'm gonna try. I think that's how you spell it. I don't know.
It is.
Okay, cool. School helped. So objection conquering. What else? Confidence, having confidence. Where does confidence come from?
Practice.
Understanding.
Understanding what you're presenting.
Understanding
Explain
it more.
to them in words that they can understand.
Yep. Hi. You live here now? No, I was kidding. I see you all the time. So having confidence, right, which comes from understanding what it is that you are presenting or trying to do, right? What was the other one you just said?
Explaining it to them in
I
words they
think
can
being able to
understand.
explain it.
So explaining it in easily understandable terms. Yeah, I feel like that's what my superpower is. So confidence, explaining in easy to understand language. This is why you guys should go to your pre-qual appointments, because lenders do not use easy to understand language. You kind of gotta be the dictionary for them in those appointments a lot of times. Confidence comes from success, right? When you know that the likely outcome of something, because you've experienced it so many times, that's what confidence comes from. It comes from past success. Right? How do we get past success? If we haven't ever done it before, you can do it in role play, being able to do it in role play, practice, but you're not gonna, your first one, George, let me use you an example. Yeah, get off the MLS. The other day, you got your first buyer rep agreement signed, right? And you were sitting right here at this table, there's a table right here, and you were like role playing it with Jose, I think, right? You guys were practicing it before. Did that make you feel a little bit more confident before you went and actually did it? It did. Now that you've done one, are you more confident that you could do it again? Absolutely, right? Because I've done this. I've already succeeded at this. Now you have confidence that I did it once, I can do it again, right? That's what confidence comes from, right? So, and repetition, right? Getting better and better and better. Once you do the first one, if you can do it once, you can do it twice, right? That's what I always tell myself. I can do it once, I can do it again. So that's what it comes from, right? And you guys have probably raised your hand if you've got a buyer rep signed. Almost everyone. Almost everyone. So, besides the people that are onboarding, right? Almost everyone. So you guys have done it once, you can do it again, all right? But the more confident you are and the better you are at doing this, explaining it in easy understand language, like the more that people are going to want to work with you, right? What's another way? Some of the things on the last one also work on this one.
I would say maybe like preparing for them to come, because I feel like we talk to so many people. So if I know at 4 o'clock I'm gonna talk to like first time home buyers, or based off our conversation, like this is a single mother who's been stressing and she needs somebody else to be for her. I would just say prepping for like the particular person that you're gonna meet with.
Okay. So being prepared for the appointment, that's a great one. Right? If you show up to a listing appointment and you don't bring any of your listing docs with you or the iPad, you're gonna have a really hard time at that appointment, right? But if you show up fully prepared, your chances are a lot more likely that you're gonna get the appointment. Ask. Yeah, that's one, right? Ask more. People who ask more get more. So ask for it.
I would say ease your way into the buyer's rep. Don't just produce it right away and try to get a signature. Start off slowly and work your way into it.
How would you do that? Give me an example. How do you do it?
Going over the buying process, and after that, then a little bit of the lending process, and then introducing the buyer's rep.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. So don't just go for the kill, right? Got to buy them a drink first, is what we always say. Like, it's just like the listings, right? You got to build rapport first, right? You got to get them to like you, because that's most important. Then you got to show them you're an expert by going over all these things, right? And differentiating yourself. Then you go for the close, right? You can't just go straight for the close. You'll get told no to a lot. So that was, yeah, so provide value. That's a great way to say it. Provide value before asking. You have to get them to want to work with you, right? If they want to work with you, it's really easy for them to say yes when you ask them to, right? So building fight, what's up, dude? Everyone's just coming. You guys bring lunch?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Huh?
You know we can't, we'd love to.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe it fell off a truck and you just like picked it up, you know what I mean? Oh, is it time already? Oh, it's already 11? Oh. Oh, you guys are doing that at 11 right now. Oh, okay. All right, guys. I guess we're going to do one more week of lead conversion training, right? So we'll get through the rest of it. But lastly, I want to make sure we have all of the things. How can we get more people that we meet to want to work with us and sign our buyer rep? One, I would say is, I think someone said it, but you want to differentiate yourself. The way we do that is through our unique value propositions, right? We have these other programs that they can get with us that they can't get anywhere else. So one that allows us to get more clients, two, it allows us to charge more, right? Another thing that we can do, Teresa, you were talking about this one at the beginning, is like pre-qualify them a little bit on the phone before booking the appointment. Don't just set any appointment. Right? Make sure it's a good appointment, that they're like you get all the way through LP Mama, right? Like do they have Do they know what they want, where they want it? Do they know their price range or have an idea at least? Do they have a
job?
Do they have a time frame? Are they working with someone yet? And then the mortgage part, right? Do they have the ability and the willingness to qualify for a mortgage? Like, we forget that part right there. Like, ability and willingness, right? If they say yes and you pre-qualify them, then you know you have a really good appointment.
And you can use our calculators to kind of do that, the monthly affordability calculator to kind of see what they can afford, and that would give you guys your purchase power.
Yeah.
Like where they could be, and if they say that they're only gonna be able to do $1,200 a month, you're gonna show them, hey, you're gonna qualify for a $190,000 house. So maybe we should wait and then circle back, or if we can come up a little bit more, this is now our purchase power, and then tie in that buy now versus later.
Yep. Yeah, so that's being an expert, right? Providing value before we bring the appointment,
See if
right?
they have a property they need to sell, to buy.
That is something for
Kinda
sure.
get that on the-
Ask about selling, yeah. All right, this is probably the most important one. I'm gonna show you guys one thing real fast to explain that right there. If I can pull it up really quickly, and then we're gonna end on that. We're gonna look at our listing appointment tracker. We'll look at last quarter. I wanna show you guys the difference between appointment quality. Actually, was it last quarter? That's not the one I'm looking for. All right, never mind. That's not what I was looking for. What I'm looking for is, like, when I was looking at listing appointments set, before the inside sales team, like the first 3 months of the previous year, I had only set 40 listing appointments in like the first couple months, right, of 2024. But I went on 38 of them, right? And I got 34 of them, all right? So extremely, extremely high conversion. But it's because I was the one booking my own appointments and pre-qualifying, making sure they were super, super good, right? Now, when we have, a lot more appointments, appointment quality is super important. The conversion rates are not as good as they used to be, right? But that's just what happens as you grow the number of sales and grow the number of agents, the conversion rates go down. But it does go to show that, like, the better you are at qualifying appointments and booking good appointments, like, I might not set an appointment with someone that an inside sales agent might set, right? So yes, I might have a less appointments set, but my conversion on the people that do show up is gonna be very high, right? So you can set less appointments, but better appointments, and get the same or better results in the end, right? So be picky, right? We want to book a lot of appointments, but we want to make sure we're booking good appointments, right? Because when they do show up, you want them to qualify, you want them to want to work with you, you want them to sign your buyer rep, and you want them to be able to buy a house, right? Like, yes, it's cool. Like, there is a brute force effort thing too, right? You can set a ton of appointments, and you for sure will get stuff out of it, right? But then when you want to talk about efficiency, once you know how to book appointments and you get really good at it, you